All right, the moon is in Scorpio and it is rapidly approaching an opposition to Uranus, so we can expect the unexpected overnight. No, we're still not going to have World War III. We're looking at tense situations, but we've got a good week before anything. Well, not quite a week, close to it though. So I've got a lot of charts to share. We've got some lunations. If you've been waiting on the horoscopes, those will come out tonight. Monday is my day off, and I was doing things like my nails. Here they are. I know. I was slacking in the nail department, but I was giving my fingernails a break. And now that Mercury is out of shadow, I did my nails. Mercury is transiting my third house. So the Mercury retrograde thing has nothing to do with hair, but it can have things to do with nails. So there we go. So I waited till Mercury was out of shadow and did my nails. And didn't they turn out cute? Look at that. New ring, bling, bling. So yeah, good evening. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Yeah, it's really important to ground right now. It's really important to ground. That's one of the reasons I got a new ring. This is lovely onyx, black onyx. This is great for grounding and protection. I always like to have mine in actual silver. It's a tradition, but it also just tends to work better. I react to metals, so I have to make sure I've got sterling silver. So, yeah, great, good. Yeah, no, when I posted in Discord, that was it, just because I hadn't got the horoscopes up yet. So it was just like, hey, start grounding and then think of something really beautiful as much as you can. Take your attention off the ugly stuff for a minute. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just put your attention on something else that's more pleasing to you. It's not denying reality to put your focus on something else. So yeah. Hey, you made it, Molly. Check it out. Bling, bling. I did my toes too. Oh my gosh. It'd been since like New Year's since I did my nails. Normally I go like every other week. So yeah. Venus, Mars conjunct squaring off with your sun and moon. Oh, well, you know what? You're being asked to change stuff up. You know, the same old isn't going to work for you. So you've got to innovate. It's a creative aspect. Okay, I know in popular astrology, even in the traditional books, it makes it sound like a challenge, but that challenge is really an opportunity. And that frustration means you need to innovate. Okay, you need to produce something, create something. So squares and oppositions are always opportunities. But you have to... The only way you get the opportunity is to change your stinking thinking. If you're thinking that everything's going to suck, everything's lost, all hope is gone, well, you're going to be right. You know, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can, you're right. Okay, so again, we're not looking at fake positivity. We're not denying reality, so-called. But when we look at reality, why can't what you want be as real as what you don't want? When you think, oh my God, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? What then? Are you ready for things to work out? Are you ready for things to work out? Have you prepared for things to work out? Or are you always making contingency plans because what if it fails? Why is one thing more likely than the other? Why is one way being more realistic than the other? When you've got a 50-50 shot, you've got a 50-50 shot. So why would you prepare for one direction more than the other? Oh. And then another thing is people will want to do things. They'll want a measure of success, But again, they're so busy preparing for failure that they don't do what it takes to be successful. They don't practice their basics. They don't do the reiterative training. They don't do those things. So, yeah. So just one thing, it's really important to understand, I don't talk about individual placements in my live streams, okay? But I do have astro guides in the link in my bio. So I have the ultimate cheat sheet, and that would give you a good indication. Eventually I'll have guides on all the planets. I just need to get those written, and I haven't done that, but I will. I'm busy. So it's really important to understand the basics and not try to jump forward. So the ultimate cheat sheet is a great place to start. It has the story of the houses in there. And I think especially since you're asking about the 12th house, it would be a good idea to get the Astro Guide. And if you're a patron, all patrons have access to that. And that's a pinned post. So it's really easy to find it on Patreon. And it's 47 pages. And I give part of it has the story of the houses, which explains the actual meaning of the houses as a form of consciousness. Yeah. So... right? I know, me too, once I get them written. I use Placidus. It's not even about preference. It's about what's accurate. I've been using it for, 24 years now. And not because that's what I was taught with. I love that argument from young astrologers with no experience. My experience is because I worked with 14 different house systems, and I used the one that gave me accuracy. And I have an 88% prediction accuracy. That's extremely high. Extremely high. And right now it's been running closer to 92% in the last couple of months. So whole sign, it just isn't as accurate. It's just not. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. But I played with 14 house systems. It's not just because the teacher said, oh, this is the best one. I played with 14 houses. There's a lot of house systems. The runner-up was Coke. The Coke system was the runner-up. And then Regimentus, that one was the third, right? So, yeah. You're loving my Leo MC energy with the bling bling. Got the bling bling. It's much easier to display that Leo MC when I'm not dealing with freaking transits to my Sun and my Mercury. Remember, astrologers are subject to the transits too. So enjoy this for a little bit. But Venus in opposition to my Sun and Mercury would be cool. Of course, and actually it will be cool conjunct Pluto, but Mars is going to be there too. So we'll see what I'm like over the next couple of days as they inch closer. They're currently in opposition to my Moon. So I'm trying not to blow up every relationship I've got. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with the people in my life, so. Oh, wasn't it a lot? I know. That's why I did the Astro Alert. We've got a couple more days and we're going to be talking about it. That's why the title here says everything's going to be okay. It will. I promise. It may not look like it, but it will. Yeah. I have an entire seminar of 2022 predictions. It's linked in my bio. Yep. Linked in my bio. This, in fact, and I give them on my page all the time. So, the first of all is we're going to have historic flooding and historic rains in April. It'll start in late March. It'll be a bad harvest this year. I've continually said that. But yeah, if you go to the link in my bio, I did an entire seminar where I broke down the astrology month by month. And so far it's played out pretty much as I said it would. Yup. So, yeah. Yeah. So, hey, how you doing? Oh, I meant to get back to you. Bug me again to get back to you because I need to move you forward. I have a day available this week that I'm not doing any readings. I'll move you into one of the, actually I have 2 days I'm not doing any readings. I'll slide your appointment in just so it's ahead of your meeting. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah. I will do that after the live stream. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So, it's going to be a crunchy couple of days. Tomorrow is a really interesting day. Hey, how you doing, McDubs? How you doing? What would make this live stream special for me? Well, every live stream is special to me because people actually show up to hear what I have to say. That's actually pretty remarkable. I'm always appreciative of every single live stream, no matter how many people show up. Do you know how cool it is when people actually want to hear what you have to say? I mean, none of you have to spend time listening to a word I say. Not one of you. You all have a choice about what you consume. So it's already really special, you know? It's already really special. But, you know, I love every single one is kind of different. It's kind of like when I do readings. Every single one is different and each one teaches me something. So I have a Libra moon. I just don't pick favorites, you know? I just don't. But yeah. Oh, you always hope for a Malcolm visit. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I like you too. Oh, thank you, Spencer. What was I going to say about special day? Well, it's going to be crunchy. Hi, Kim. How are you? Let me pull up the charts. So, I'm not going to lie. I've had a wee nip of bevy because today is my day off technically. So, let me see. I was pulling charts. I think this is the one. Nope, that's next week. Or this week, but... No, this is it. This is it because I drew all over it. So this is 20... I think this is the 23rd. It's hard for me to see what day. I think this is tomorrow night. Either that or, yeah, it's tomorrow night. So we have the moon in Scorpio. It's in Scorpio right now. It's just moving into opposition with Uranus. But tomorrow night, it will be in opposition to the North Node. It will be sextile Pluto. And Pluto is still in trine. It's a separating trine to the North Node. This is also historic, okay? So with the moon in Scorpio sextiling Pluto, and it'll sextile Venus and Mars ahead of time, we're going to be looking at behind the scenes negotiations. So I know there's a lot of talk about Ukraine and Russia, right? I would not invest myself emotionally if possible. And I know that's hard if you have family there. That's a different story. But if you don't have family there, back your emotions off of it. Because there's a lot of negotiations happening behind the scenes. Like I've said, there might be an invasion. I'm not going to say there isn't. There is not going to be World War III with like big mushroom clouds. Okay, so if that's a fear, bring that fear out of the picture. That is not going to happen. We are going to see negotiations that we're not going to hear about. This is all behind the scenes stuff, and it is rather historic. We have a lot of games in play, and there's so much messaging, and I know like the current, and again, I am no fan of Vladimir Putin. None. He's a special character, is all I gotta say. But the white hat, black hat thing is always something you need to be very careful of. You always have to be careful of moral superiority, okay? And so there's a lot of rhetoric going on right now, and there are a lot of people, even in social media, being used as agents of information. And it appears like we're being very transparent, but it's actually some brinksmanship happening. And actual policies are made behind the scenes and aren't usually public knowledge. Otherwise, we wouldn't have what? Confidential files. So what's actually happening versus what we see happening might be two different things. And that's really what I'm seeing in the astrology. Okay. So back away from the messaging. Focus on things that you'd rather focus on. Okay. Because where you put your energy matters. Today I gave a message in my Discord of ground and think of beautiful things that bring you joy. Okay. Because whether you're against or for something is kind of besides the point. Where do you want to put your energy? Okay, is what matters. And so whether you fear a conflict or you approve of a conflict, you're going to energize that subject. Are you 100% responsible for it? No. But why put any energy towards something that you don't need to, and that isn't really out inside your control? Okay, so you want to bring your energy back inside, ground. And again, I'm not telling you to deny reality that exists, but your reality is right in front of you, and there's things you need to do in your day-to-day life. So if this is impacting your mental wellness, focus on your mental wellness. Okay, if it's stressing you out, if it's causing you anxiety, if you can't sleep at night, if this does not directly impact you. Now, if it directly impacts you, there's different strategies for dealing with it. But if it really doesn't directly impact you, if it has an indirect impact on you, and it indirectly impacts us all, but if it doesn't have a direct connection to you, and I'm not, look, if your neighbor's family has family there, that's not a direct connection, guys. You're borrowing their issue. And I have a real problem with people borrowing other people's trauma, because I've had my own trauma used by people to give themselves a story and a narrative. And when I wasn't using it for myself, don't borrow it's rude. Okay, we don't borrow other people's problems to give ourselves. It's like being outrageous to get views. You know what I mean? It's just crass. Don't do it. So you want to bring your energy inside. You want to ground like an MF. Did I still lose my connection because of that? Okay, I'm back. Sorry guys, somebody called me. If I get one more phone call right now, I'm going to strangle someone. I tried to live stream 2 hours ago. Bringing it down. We're gonna just chill. Okay, one more phone call and I will murderize somebody. I forgot to put it on do not disturb. My bad. So we want to bring our energy inside. We want to ground. Today I got myself a new ring. I wanted some more onyx. One, it's a great protective stone, but two, it very much helps me keep my energy on the inside, and that helps us ground. I also did some self-care. I got the mani-pedi today. Look at that. We got nails again. Yay. I always feel better when I have nails. So, yeah. Right? They didn't want me to say it. No, actually, it's all been people very close to me. So, yeah. And it was funny. One of them I haven't talked to. And it's funny. I talked about that particular person all day long. And their ears were burning. So, but yeah. What are the benefits to wearing crystal and jewelry at home? I'm live streaming. That's why. But at home, you have every threshold worded, every window, every door worded perfectly. Have you refreshed your words? Do you refresh and ground every moment of every day? They're tools. They're tools. They're tools so you don't have to be 100% on the ball all the time. It's a tool. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I didn't understand your question. What are the benefits? Oh, I see. I get it. What are the bennies? Like the positive side. It depends on what you're using. Like every crystal's different. Different jewelry is different. I switch up my jewelry depending on how I feel. You know, if I want to be receiving more, I pay attention to what I have on my left hand. If I need grounding and if I want protection, I pay attention to my right. Yeah. That's the advantage of it. They're tools. You know, you have to study it. So, yeah. Hematite all day long. Yeah, hematite very much. Yeah. 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 Well, I like rings because I don't do well with necklaces. I don't like things around my neck too much. And I do better with things on my hands. So I tend to break chains unless it's a silk cord. So that's one of the reasons. So like silk I can wear, but metal chains don't work with me because unless I'm wearing sterling silver all the time, I react to metals. Even gold, I have to use like 23 karat gold, which is super soft. So, but yeah, I'm very reactive to metals. So I tend to use like silk cords or leather if I have a thing. So yeah. Do I like rings because Venus in Gemini? A little bit, because you know Gemini rules the hands. But also I have Saturn in Taurus, so I don't like anything around my neck. So yeah. So it just depends on you. You know, you use what your preference is. Some people do well with belts. Some people do with things in their pockets. I mean, I have to be careful with carrying rocks in my pockets because I tend to make them go through the washing machine. And, you know, you don't have to get anything fancy. I like cool jewelry. So, because, you know, not only do I have Venus and Gemini in my natal chart, my progressed Venus is Leo. So, you know, I like a little bling bling. But yeah. You know, we go through stages, you know. I went through stages where I didn't wear as much jewelry. You know, so. Yeah, bracelets. Bracelets are great. I have some cuffs. If I wear bracelets, I like cuffs. So, because I'm small boned. So, I have some really cool cuffs. Fireworks! Bling bling. I love that. Thank you. I love that. So beautiful. Hi, how are you? So yeah, I think when the call came in, I lost my chart. Let me pull it back up. So we've got some interesting times ahead. So this is like the 22nd evening. We've got the moon sextile Pluto, and then it's trine the north node, while the moon is on the south node in opposition to the north node. Like I said, this is going to be some conversations. This is going to be about some behind the scenes negotiations. Today, I think some of the escalation and things was probably like I talked about on my podcast, where it wouldn't take a lot for a soldier to, you know, get a happy trigger finger or an itchy trigger finger. This is going to be a little while happening in the Ukraine and Russia. And honestly, if it doesn't directly affect you, I'm not telling you to not care about it. I'm telling you to put your attention on things that enliven you and don't cause you anxiety, because the more we have anxiety and we feed into it, the more we kind of empower things. And so you want to empower the things that enliven you and enrich your life. Am I telling you to deny reality? No, I'm not telling you to deny reality. Don't deny reality. But why would you empower a reality that frightens you? You know, it's just like we talked a little bit about in the beginning. Why would you focus more on what if it fails? What if it doesn't work? Than what if it does work? You know, people will be like, oh, but you're a dreamer. But it's okay to think you're going to be a failure? What? You know, what? Nobody succeeds thinking, well, I suck. Not one person succeeds thinking, oh man, I'm never going to make it. Right? Hey, I'm glad you caught me too. It's good to see you. Oh, you have stone anklets. Nice. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's important. You got to turn the narrative on its head, you know. When I was a little girl, and my mom was telling the story of when I was a baby and I was operated on at 11 days old, and the doctor told her I had an 80% chance of survival. I mean, dying. Sorry, 20% chance of survival. And my mom was like, oh, you had an 80% chance of dying. And I looked at her and I did the mental math. I was like 5, and I was like, why didn't you think of the 20%? You know? And she was like, one was as likely as the other. You know? Where are you going to put your focus? Well, I don't want to be disappointed. Well, if all you're focusing on is disappointment, guess what you're going to get? And I've done both, you know. There's been times in my life where I focused more on the worry of it, something not working, and guess what? It didn't work, you know, versus, well, it's kind of crazy, but it might work. And it turned out it did work. So it's perspective is everything. And so as we go in, this is going to be a little crunchy on a personal level. It's a great time to empower yourself to let go of old habits that don't serve you, to look at how you want to create things and stability for yourself. It's a great time to transmute things for yourself. Take those old owies, those old stings, those old heartbreaks, those old failures, and turn them, like, what did you learn? Like, seriously, what did you learn? Not, oh, well, I learned don't do that again. Don't do that, okay? What you want to do is turn it around, okay? And be like, okay, well, I learned I need to protect my intellectual property. I learned I need to have things formed and ready for success. I learned I need to have a better schedule. I've learned I need to have my ducks in a row. I learned I need to have the right people or the connections. I need to make those. I need to go find those. Versus, well, I learned I shouldn't do it. You know, that doesn't move you forward at all. And then people get mad at other people who are successful. And I'm not talking about people born with silver spoons in their mouths. Okay. I'm talking about people who take advantage of what's going on. They see an opportunity and they take it. You can't be frustrated at people who do that. You have to look at yourself. What can you do to elevate yourself just a little bit more? Just a little bit more. It doesn't have to be huge, you know, right? You have to just tweak your narrative about you, okay? Because it doesn't matter what other people are saying about you to you. You're the arbiter of your own life. Whether, you know, if the people in your life are holding you back, change the people you're around. And yeah, sometimes that means ending relationships and gaining new ones, you know. So, right? Oh, thank you. You're so welcome. That's my hope, is that people don't get, like, if I can help everybody bring their anxiety down just a little bit and think kinder thoughts about themselves, I would. You know, this is all, you know, I love that I get to do this, you know. It's really easy to look at the world and be really mad that, you know, this person's doing better and that person has got all these things and my life sucks and I've had these horrible things happen to me. It's really, really easy to do it. I know, I've been on that end too. I've been that angry, bitter person, because it's hard, you know. But the minute I started tweaking my perceptions just a little bit and be like, well, what can I change about what I'm doing? you know. What can I do differently? What am I not doing? What could I try doing? And then letting go of the idea of failure. You're either learning or you're growing. But failure, it only happens when it puts you in a box and you're 6 feet under, or you become a tree or a diamond or something. So, yeah. Oh, my nose itch. Okay. Oh my God, my notifications are going off. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's helping. You have spent the day deep cleaning. Oh my gosh, Christina, that's amazing. Trying to find peace. You know what? Clearing clutter for clarity. I love that. I did that recently. I just was like, I looked, because my place had kind of exploded because I worked so hard, and I let the house kind of go. And then I looked around me. I was like, you know what? I don't feel good. I don't feel good here. I love my place. It's exploded. It's a mess. And I just spent a couple days, I started with my closet in my bedroom, and I was like, you know what? I've just been throwing stuff in here and shutting the door. And it's a great walk-in closet. I'm just gonna, I spent a morning just folding clothes, putting things away neatly, making a box of clothes that I'm gonna give away because I either don't like them and don't wear them, or they don't fit and I don't ever want to fit into them again. And so just doing that, and then, okay, I've got that. And then I attacked the next thing and the next thing, clean the kitchen, clean the living room. None of them were horrible. They were just cluttered and they needed space to be put away. And it felt immensely better. So, yeah. Thank you, Casey. I think they're going to still continue negotiating. I think there's a lot of things. I'm going to talk about it on my podcast because honestly, I don't really want to talk about it on TikTok too much when we talk about Ukraine and Russia. I would rather talk about that on my podcast. And the reason is it's just too easy to break community guidelines here. So, but yeah, I've already talked about it on my podcast in the latest episode. I'll touch on it again. I think there's going to be a lot of negotiations. This is the 20 seconds chart. This is tomorrow night. We've got the moon sextile, Mars and Pluto. It's in opposition to the north node, which means it's on the south node. Yes, old issues are up. This is an old thing. Now, interestingly, and I was talking about this since the fall last year, the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction of April in Pisces, we have not seen since 1856. What happened in 1856? The Treaty of Paris that ended the Crimean War. So these are old situations that go back before the formation of the Soviet Union even. And so this is something that's up in deck. I think we're going to see some negotiations. It will not be World War III. We will not see mushroom clouds. There may be a division of land. There may be negotiations about what goes where and which slice of pie goes where. But I do talk about in my latest podcast a little bit about Biden's chart and Putin's chart and what's happening for them as we go forward. I talked about that in my latest episode. So if you go to the link in my bio, you can find it there on my page with all my links and all my astro guides, how to book a reading with me. I've got a really fun reading. That's a group reading, and we just did the first one on Saturday because I accidentally set it up wrong. But it was amazing. We did a group reading where I just looked at the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction as a transit and how people could use that as magic in their lives. Because on an individual level, it is sheer magic. On a mundane level, it's really crazy weather. It's an expansion of COVID. I can honestly say invasions don't go very well right now. So we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of negotiations happening. You have to remember, anything you hear in the news is never policy. It's never actual policy. As a political analyst, I can guarantee it. I'm more like, this is a great game that's being played. I wonder what's really going on. because we don't get to know what's really going on as they're mouthing off and playing whatever games they're playing. So, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. That'll be so much fun. Yeah, today really is a day for grounding, tomorrow as well. But today was more of a day for grounding because the moon was was trine the sun in Pisces. So it was really easy to float off the planet. Really important to ground and put a focus on what you want. Everything is spiritual. Being physical is spiritual. There's no separation between our spirituality and our physicality. You know, denying our physical self as a spiritual experience is kind of silly. You know, we're in these bodies for a reason, you know, and you can use oils to help with your energy centers. You can use oils to help in just even calming your anxiety. Because if you're running anxiety, it's really hard to hear those still small voices of support from your guides, from whomever you choose to believe in. So, you know, it kind of shuts it out. It makes it hard. So yeah, absolutely, essential oils can help. I'm not talking about like the MLMs. I'm talking about like just finding some really good quality essential oils. But yeah, I use essential oils all the time. They've been used ritualistically for a long time in bathing, in clearing. I don't think I have mine over here. Mine I think are over on that counter, but I use it for clearing energy. You don't have to burn incense. You can ice spritz. So yeah. No, I don't incorporate planetary hours and days into my routine. No. But I have North Node in Pisces. My job is not to do that. Nope. I think that's just like, trust yourself. Astrology is reflective. I think if you actually look back on things, you'll see you kind of do that stuff naturally anyway when you're in tune. But no, I don't. Nope. I don't use a lot of Hellenistic anything. So, yeah. Nope, and triple nope. You know, you have to realize it's your life. You have agency. Astrology reflects life. How you choose to use the energy is up to you. Okay? So, if you want to be that, like, scheduled, have at it. But for me, that would be the wrong approach. Every single person needs to use an approach that works best for their personal energy makeup. There's no one right way or another. So, where's Malcolm? He's chilling out. He's taking a nap. We had a long day today. We took rides all day long. He's on his pillows on the couch. So, yeah, we did lunch. We did an early lunch, and then we went shopping, and then I got my nails done and my mani-pedi. He was guarding my car. It was crazy cool. We got a puppuccino. It was a great day. And now he's tired. So, you have a lot of hard transits. Oh, yeah. Oh, hun. Deep breaths. Okay, first of all, the Pluto return for the United States was yesterday. It is not on the 22nd. I don't believe in energy portals based on arbitrary months and days because the Gregorian calendar was made up by Pope Gregory. Okay? Astrology is different. We could call the months and days of the week nanu and bleeblop. And the positions would be the same because it's math. Okay? The number sequences, this is Facebook spirituality because this stuff never existed. The whole Lionsgate, all of that was made up on Facebook about 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. I don't know. I know I've been a metaphysician most of my life, and I have studied the deep arcane, okay? I have sat and read medieval manuscripts. This shit did not exist, okay? Because not every day and month of the year, like, guess what? Not everyone in the world uses the Gregorian calendar. They'll use it for commerce, but different cultures and countries have different calendars. What? No way, Jose. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to believe in it, your belief is what makes it happen. Okay? Your belief is what makes that happen. And with Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces, your belief is going to power absolutely freaking everything right now. And if enough people believe in something, you can make it a thing. Absolutely. But it has shit all to do with astrology. Nothing. Nothing to do with astrology. It has no basis in astrology. Nothing to do with it. And I will die on that hill. Okay? So if you like it, great. Now the moon is in Scorpio tomorrow. And it is sextile Pluto. This is tomorrow night around 10:30 p.m. The moon will be sextile Pluto. It will be in opposition to the north node of the moon, which means it's on the south node. It's a great time to release the past and transmute it. And it is a great time to like think forward. That's the main thing I've been telling you for the whole year of 2022. Get over the past. Stop building from that. It's a crumbling foundation. Build forward. Build forward. And yes, I understand trauma. I have had trauma. I grew up in trauma. Like, so much so, I wasn't supposed to live to 52. I get it. But I also know if that is the only story you're telling, that is the only thing you're living. And you then give agency to the oppressors. They still have the power. You want to take on your own power. This is the time to transmute and take on your own power. And your own power isn't about being like large and in charge and hurting other people and being mean and being an asshat. It's about just accepting you're in charge of making your own decisions and being accountable for what you do next. Instead of like, oh, I'll never be able to do anything because bad things happen to me. I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be doing this if I kept doing that. That line of thinking nearly did end me when I was younger. Did I attempt it? No, I didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't. And good thing, because now I'm here and I'm enjoying life and I get to talk to you and I get to meet you in readings and in groups and coffee with Lori. And I love meeting people from all over the place, right? I know. I struggled at 21 too, honey. It's part of being young because you don't have the perspective. It doesn't mean you're not smart and it doesn't mean you're not wise, but you have all the power. Okay? You have so much power than you think. So much power. We all struggle when we're young. It's how we get, you know how you get wisdom? You live through the dumb shit you do when you're young. That's how you get wisdom. Okay? You're not born knowing, and you're not meant to do it perfect. I talked a little bit about this earlier on the podcast, or not podcast, live stream here. You're either learning or you're growing, but you are never, ever failing. Okay? You are either learning or you're growing, but you are never, ever failing. Let go of the idea of being a loser. Okay? Especially, first of all, if you're 21 and you're having a hard time finding a decent job, if you're having a hard time making things work for you, take a deep breath. We have a shitty economy. It's not your fault. Okay? People have asked me, are we heading into another depression? I'm like, we've been there for over a decade. No wonder you're struggling. And mental health wise, we've gone through a pandemic. We're in one now, and where there's global unrest. Shit, you have every reason to have anxiety, but bring it down. I'm not telling you to deny the world. Bring it down. You have a power that no one else has, right? You take it step by step, moment by moment. You wiggle your toes. You wiggle your fingers. You tap your nose. These sound silly, right? They sound stupid. But tap your nose. It's really hard to think about things. And look in the mirror while you're doing it. Tap your nose. You look ridiculous doing it. It's really hard to think serious things when you're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm right here with you. These are grounding exercises. These are being right here, right now exercises. And if you have to do them over and over and over, you do them, okay? You do them. That's what prayer beads were for. Have you ever seen? That's what rosaries were designed for, and prayer beads and worry stones. They're to get you out of this and here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Grounding is essential right now, right? Right. Yeah. At 20, because people are pushing you, right? And you're listening to the outside noise. I was just talking to somebody close to me today, and they have young adult children, okay? They're adults legally, but they're not even 25 yet. And they had some emergency stuff come up that their parent really couldn't afford or have time for. And I laughed because I know exactly what it's like to be there. Because it always happens when the parent is just trying to get ahead, and all of a sudden, oh man, it gets in the way. So I was sitting there and I was like, you know, it's hard for kids today. It's not like even when my kids were in that age group, because, and I had a hell of a time trying to explain that to my ex-husband, because he was not connected at all with the current reality. And I was like, look, it's hard. It's not like when we were teenagers and you could just go to the mall and get a job. It's not like that at all. They don't even get hours, and then they get paid shitty. You know, comparatively, I did pretty well as a teenager. And even though, like, the ticket I bought to leave the country was still really expensive. You know, it was like $600 for a one-way ticket. And back, you know, in 1987, $600 was a lot of money. But I could earn it. And so, like, his kids both had car stuff happen, and it wasn't, and neither one of them did anything to deserve it. It was just stuff that had happened, because sometimes stuff happens. And I was like, and what do? You have to help, because they can't just go get a job to pay for it. You know, it can be hard. So what do? We ground. And, you know, he was up in his head. So I was like, hey, dude, you're in your head. Hello, be present. And he's like, I'm trying to fix it ahead of being able to fix it. And my mind does that. I'm like, and how is it helping you? How is that helping you? What is it doing for you? It's not fixing it. It's not making it better. You've got acid reflux. You've lost weight, because he's got a lot of other things going on. And hello, be in the present. I mean, like, when this person is somebody who likes to be fit and work out. I'm like, when was the last time you worked out? When was the last time you got, you know, you actually went and broke a sweat? Because I know that's what that person has, an Aries moon. They really, really, really need to do stuff like that. And they were like, oh yeah, I need to do that. I'm like, you need to make time for it. You're never going to be too busy to do the things that bring you back to who you are. And that's something you guys, each one of you has something that brings you back to who you are, whether it's music or art or working out, lifting weights, gardening, cooking, taking care of your fur babies, taking care of your kids, whatever it is that brings you back to yourself. That's what you need to focus on now. Okay. And there's going to be all kinds of distractions out in the rest of the world. There's always going to be politics. There's always going to be some dumbass doing some dumbass thing. There's always going to be some egregious social injustice. There always will be. You know, one of the most dangerous things in spirituality is selling the cock and bull of one day there'll be unity consciousness. As long as we're in physical bodies, there will be conflict, because that is the nature of being physical. Doesn't mean we have to go around being mean. That conflict could be a simple disagreement. It doesn't have to lead to annihilation. There's layers of it. I would like to see it go beyond needing to have fisticuffs and be like, maybe I will use strong adjectives towards you, sir. Okay? It'd be nicer to see that conflict be a little different. But we're not going to be in unity consciousness anytime soon, nor do we want to be there. Because we don't grow from that space. We don't. That's why squares and oppositions are really, really important. They force growth. They force evolution. They force change. And it's really funny. I've heard an argument against evolutionary astrology, which is what I practice. I'm a progressive evolutionary astrologer. And I've heard the argument being, well, we can't always be growing. Yeah, we always can. Unfettered economic growth is a different story. But we can always be evolving as human beings. You're telling me we're good to go where we're at? You think we can't be improving a little bit? Pardon my Pluto in Virgo, but I think there's always room for improvement. But I also know part of that room for improvement is loving yourself. That when we sit in condemnation of ourselves and other people, and when we're condemning other people, we're projecting. You know, so we have to look back on ourselves, right? But we have to have these friction moments because that's what helps us grow, right? That's what creates great art. That's what creates great music. That's what creates great understandings, is that frustration. That's what creates pearls. Diamonds are formed under pressure. That pressure of a square or an opposition is creative. It does not have to be destructive. So yeah. Right? That you could stop growing, right? It is terrifying. We're never done. We're not done until we're done, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And yet it doesn't always have to be so hard, right? Now when I have a problem and I'll look at the problem, I weigh it against what I used to have as problems. And my problems when I was younger were really big problems. They were not run-of-the-mill. Like, there have been several times in my life where there were some just like, it was a shit show. We'll just say that, right? And people would be like, holy shit, that's your problems. Whoa. And now, like, say I order my groceries and they're late. Or say, like, last month, my side mirror, it flipped the wrong way and was facing traffic. I just barely tapped it. It was the weirdest thing to watch. It was right as Mercury was stationing direct. It was just like really weird. I was just like, oh, okay, fine. I see how this is. And it was annoying. It's a brand new car. But never once did I go like, oh no. I actually went, man, that's a great problem to have. I would have paid money for that problem. It was a $20 fix, by the way. Yeah. Even though the dealer told me they would have to take off my car door and it was going to cost me hundreds of dollars. And I was like, you cannot tell me this cannot be moved with a little tweak. I'm going to go find a guy. Found a guy, $20. It got fixed. I was like, just because I'm a lady don't mean, like, the kid was like, you broke the motor. And I'm like, what are you, the motor whisperer? That you just touched this thing and you know I broke a motor? please. But that was kind of a fun problem to have, and it was easily resolved. That was not a big deal. My problems, even 5 years ago, my problems were way bigger, and so now when I have something and I get upset about, I weigh it. I weigh and measure. I would have paid money to have that problem, so it's not as hard as it has to be. And granted, my problems when, trying to get back to the States with my kids, that was a big problem. Really big problem. I had 7 days to do it. I didn't have any money. I didn't have the right paperwork to get out. And yet it's still aligned. And I still got out. That's its own other story. But when you have had problems like that and your life has been at risk, it gives you perspective, so yeah. When you were little, you would react dramatically to the smallest things, right? Yeah. Right? Exactly, Molly. Sometimes looking back, I'm in awe of that person I was who overcame it. Exactly, and you should be. If you've gone through serious things, instead of being, sometimes you get tired because if you go through enough, it's hard. You're climbing uphill, right? It's a slog. It's like having lead weights on and you're climbing up this hill. And when you're overcoming trauma, it's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting. It's spiritually exhausting. And it's physically exhausting. And it's really easy. Like once you get kind of to a plateau where you're not having to climb as hard, it's easy to just want to cave up. Because if you've been through something, you don't ever want to go through it again. You don't ever want to get near it again, right? But then you shorten things up. Like you can want to rest for a little too long. And you start missing out on life. I did that too. I was really tired at one point. And I just wanted to sleep. I just wanted to stop. I wanted the world to stop because I couldn't do it. I was donezo. And I stopped for a little while. And it was very hard. The law of inertia, right? An object in motion stays in motion. When you stop a little too long, it's hard to get moving, right? Doesn't mean you can't get moving again. But be gentle with yourself and understanding that it takes a little time to get that momentum going. And that healing is a spiral. It is not a straight A to B line. Okay? It's not a straight A to B. It's a spiral. And you're going to see an issue from this angle and this angle and this angle and this angle. It's a spiral. And then, you get perspective once you've moved forward a certain amount of time. But if you use the stories of the past to impede your movement forward, that will determine how your future outcomes happen. And you have so much power. And it is reflected in your astrology chart. That's why I'm super excited about doing this Jupiter-Neptune group reading. Oh my God, it's so exciting. It's up on Patreon for patrons. You get a 50% off code. It's super, super fun. It is like a slumber party. It was so fun. I don't give what happens is in that reading, I go through everybody's charts there. It's a public reading, so I don't get into the nitty gritty and I don't touch on any of your trauma. I don't publicly discuss it. I might allude to something. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not outing any of your issues. I don't ever do that in a public sphere. I'm very gentle, okay? I don't ever want anyone to feel exposed in a public venue. I am a very shy, I know you won't believe it, but I'm very shy and I'm very private. In fact, today, I swear to God, I watched somebody who must have multiple fire and air signs relating to somebody who had multiple earth and water signs in the salon when I was getting my nails done, because they were obviously related, but one person was really boisterous and loud and talking about their personal business, their agreements, and they were like, well, I'm just going to take your phone away because we agreed, I witnessed it, you promised. And the other woman was like, tone it down, tone it down. And I looked up because I was across from the one I'm pretty convinced had water and earth signs, and being a very heavy water and air sign person, I was just like, and luckily I had my mask on because we're in the salon, right? Everybody's got their mask on. But I got eye contact with her for 2 seconds, and she was just like, and I was like, And I quickly put my head down because I'm like, I would kill someone I'm related to if they did that to me in a salon. If they told my business and talked like that to me in a public venue, I would literally not be taught. I would have just gone, you don't exist anymore. I'd just be like, no. I'd be like, who are you talking to, honey? Because I don't know you. It was just, not cool. And so, which by the way, that's when I was getting these fabulous nails done. I feel back to myself again. Yay. But, it was something. And so I will never, ever, if I do a group reading, you may or may not know people in the group. It doesn't matter. I will never blow your cover. I'm not going to talk about sensitive subjects. I'll talk around them if the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces is happening in a sensitive thing or making sensitive aspects. You'll know what I'm talking about, but it'll be between you and me. Okay, I'm very good at communicating things. But it was the most fun. And again, if you're a patron, you get half off. So I noticed somebody was wanting to come and said there wasn't anything after March 17th. There wasn't. I might do one more in April. But I have to say, I'm going to find a way to do more group readings thematically because this was the most fun I've had in forever. Like I said, it was like a slumber party. It was super fun and just really great to empower people with this great energy. Super, super, super fun. I look forward to doing more of those. I love doing my one-on-one work, but sometimes I need something lighter too, so it was just super fun. It was pure magic. It was so fun to have you there. Thank you, Saffron. It was really super fun. Yeah. Welcome if you're new here. I'm Lori, and I've been an astrologer for 3 decades. I work on a variety of topics. My biggest topic is empowering you to be your very, very best self, to love yourself. The most radical thing we can do right now is love ourselves. Absolutely the most radical thing we can do. It's really hard to control somebody who knows their value. And everybody has value. Even if we don't like people, they have a value. We may not be able to see it, but they do. It's kind of like slugs. Slugs have value too. They eat the detritus. So, yeah. So, we want to watch out for the crunchies. This sextile energy is really hard. It's going to bring stuff up from the past. It's important to transmute it. So, detritus. Detritus is like garbage, like plant litter and other crap. Yes, they eat live plants, but they also eat the other crap on the ground too. And their poop creates earth. Yeah. And they're food for birds and other things. So, yeah. Right? Oh, like I said, we don't have to like people, and we can compare them to slugs. They still have a purpose. We don't have to know what it is. We don't even have to like them. Honestly, to be a good person, you don't have to like everybody. In fact, I will argue that some of the biggest shadow work you'll ever do is taking a real hard look at why you need to be a good person. If you think you need to work on being a good person, if you're afraid of being a bad person, you've been sold a bill of goods, because you know what? You're just fine. Because you know what? Bad people don't worry about being bad. Just saying. the need to be virtuous, the need to be good, the need to be, I just want to be honest, I just want to be good. That tells me, see me, see me, see me, approve of me, approve of me, approve of me. What if people think I'm a jerk? Take it from a Libra moon. Worrying about what other people think about you is going to hold you back, and somebody's always going to think you're a jerk somehow. I'm the villain in many people's stories. Some of it delightedly so. Other people, they just decided to make me the villain. And maybe I am the villain in their story. But that's their story. It's not my story. And I've made other people villains in my story. And you know, in order to have a good story, guess what? You need a villain. You know, I have a good friend who's a writer, a friend on Twitter who's a writer, and he's got the Dark Lord's Journal, and it's kind of it's a great comedy journey of the Dark Lord's account of having to deal with the hero, and it's just a great flip the script, you know, and a great Twitter account to follow. But yeah, be okay with being the villain. That's right, McDubs. McDubs, my apprentice, McDubs. I'll message you tonight. But yeah, it's okay to be the villain sometimes. You know, you don't have to actively go seek it, but you're not always going to be the good guy. You know? And there was a time about 5.5 years ago where I was kind of blowing up my life real good. On purpose. And I knew I needed to restart and to be ready for 2020. And that meant I had to shed a lot of stuff. And some of it looked good to other people. You know, some of it was socially acceptable stuff that I was tossing out the window. It looked really nuts to a lot of people. And things got a little scary. And my really good friend who always believes in me, like always believes in me. Like, we're besties, right? We always believe in each other. But I scared her too. And we were doing this meditation, and after I got out of the meditation, I looked at her and I was like, it's okay, I'm just in the exciting part of the book. And she was like, what? I'm like, no, I'm in the exciting part of the book. You know, when the main character, you don't know if they're gonna make it or not? That's the part I'm in. But I'm gonna make it, and it's gonna be okay. We just don't know how. But I'm just gonna write the rest of the story now, because I'm a writer by nature. So I was like, I just need to tell the story, because we've been telling the story like I'm not going to make it. And if I keep telling that story, I'm not going to make it. So I need to make the story so I make it. So I'm going to write that out. And she was like, cool. Go ahead. Try that. But hey, Venus, Gemini, 8th house, I did it. By the hair of my chinny chin chin, I did it. And that's something you want to think about. When you read a book or you watch a movie, that scary part, sometimes you don't know that the characters are going to get out okay, right? And even if they don't, life still goes on, right? We don't know what happens after. So we're always so worried about it. Instead of being worried about what's right in front of us. How do we make that part good? I don't understand. What the heck? Okay. Let's see what other charts I have up. The day I'm actually, I think if there is, by the way, speaking of Ukraine, Russia, March 2nd is a very possible day for any kind of invasion. That's a crunchy day. We got another one as well when the moon's in Capricorn. Let's see. Yeah. And of course, can I see what day it is? No. So, see, moon's in Scorpio now. We're on the 21st. Sag will be the 22nd through the 24th. I think this is the 26th. It is. So, February 26th, we've got the moon in Capricorn. It's coming into conjunction. It'll be conjunct Venus and Mars. These guys are starting on the approach to being conjunct Pluto. This is a very, very volatile day. Yes, I did a video on my page about March 2nd. Feel free to watch that. I talk about it there, and I'll be talking about it more as we go along. What's crunchy? It's not pleasant. I don't like empowering energy that I don't want to experience. So if you're new here, crunchy means it's unpleasant. So it can be challenging. Okay. Heavy. But there's ways we can use that energy. Okay. So you're never the victim of energy. You're always able to work with it. It just takes practice. So just like, basketball players practice their free throws and dribble. Okay. So, yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. Well, we already have, we're currently in that amount of Capricorn. We've had Venus and Mars there for quite a while now. And then March 6th, Venus and Mars ingress into Aquarius. So, yeah. It's just, they're getting closer and closer to Pluto. That's going to be very, very volatile energy. Yeah. Oh, excellent. I look forward to reading for you on March 2nd. Exactly, Moo Cat. You got it. Exactly. It's like a coach pointing out things you got to change to play better. Exactly. Your coach. Exactly. Our Saturn is our coach. Absolutely. Saturn rules discipline. Discipline means to teach. It rules our routines. If you want to be good at something, it takes time and practice to be good at it. You may have natural talent, but if you don't refine that, you're not going to excel because there's other things to learn as well. Maybe you have to learn a little bit about an industry. Maybe you have to learn how the rules work. Just because you have gifts doesn't mean you don't need some refinement in there, and Saturn plays that role. I talk about that in Saturn Through the Houses. That's a recorded class up on my link in bio. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of you have it. Yeah. Absolutely. Things can be, just because it's crunchy on a global level doesn't mean it has to be crunchy on an internal level. It might be. And then we have the ability to do something about it. It's very hard at the mass level for things to change, but on an individual, when we change our consciousness, we help influence the mass. So, yeah, that's why being as mindful as possible is really useful, because it helps tip things over. It doesn't tip it over like hugely, but sometimes even just a little tap in the right direction can help. Oh, Ben, big hugs. Yep. Libra Saturn retrograde is great. In fact, most of you don't have enough knowledge to work with retrograde at all because retrograde isn't that big of a deal. Anybody who puts too much emphasis on retrograde needs to stop yesterday. Yeah. Well, a lot of younger people watching will have Aquarius or Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries. May have some Tauruses. I think we had quite a few Saturn and Tauruses watching before. Not many past that. There might be some Saturn Geminis, but not too many. Yep. Yeah, well, I've got Saturn Through the Houses. I talk about the Saturn Through the Signs. That's up in the link in the bio. It's a great recorded class, and it would be very useful for people. Yep. Yep. Sag. Indeed. So, what time is it? I gotta look. Oh, it's not showing the time. Oh, it is. I just have to make my hair. Oh, it's only 9:20. We're doing good. We're doing good. Yeah, so anyway, the 26th is going to be a crunchy day. Yeah, Malcolm's sleeping. He is crapped out. Actually, he moved. I don't know where he is. I can call him. Malcolm! No, come here. I don't know. He's pretty crashed wherever he's at. He's tired. I don't even see him. He might be under my bed. If he's under my bed, he's out for the night. We had a very long day. Oh, what's transmuting? Transmuting just means changing. It means changing. You know, switching it up. It's alchemizing it. It's turning it, like alchemy was the precursor of chemistry, and people tried to turn lead into gold. So trauma can actually be turned into healing and your strengths. You know, vulnerability can be a strength. Learning how reframing is another good. Reframing is transmutation. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, it's like switching perspectives. Absolutely. But if you take it, if you work in micro switches, like micro tweaks, it helps versus having to do it big. Like when we say switch a perspective, people most likely, they go like, oh, I'm going to do a 180. Well, 180s are hard to do. So sometimes it's little imperceptible, little tiny tweaks. And that's more what transmutation is. It isn't like all of a sudden where you're like, think about like in the cartoons, you know, like I'm evolving into another creature. We don't do that. You know, it takes time, you know, but not as much time as you might think. And one day you go, oh my God, look at where I'm at, you know, so there you go. Oh my gosh, I want you to stay safe. Pluto dust, you stay safe. You have to walk home. Oh my gosh. Stay safe, sweet pea. Yes, I have, hun. I've already discussed it. That's okay. I'll get this up on YouTube. I've promised to do better about getting my live streams on YouTube if you want to talk about it. But I've already talked about it on my podcast as well. If you want to catch the latest episode, it's up linked in my bio. I'll continue to talk about it as well. It will not end up in mushroom clouds, I promise. You know, there may be an invasion, and it's not going to go well, and it's not also going to lead. It's not going to lead to mushroom clouds. The astrology doesn't support it. But I do talk about both Biden and Putin's charts in the podcast as well, and kind of how they relate to each other. I actually feel that there are negotiations. I had a chart up for tomorrow, and I think there's going to be some important discussions tomorrow. Let me find the chart. So this is tomorrow night's chart. We have the moon in Scorpio on the south node, opposite the north node. This happens every single freaking month, okay? But it'll be in sextile to Pluto. And so to me, that says there's going to be a lot of, connection to the past and negotiating. And when we look at the Ukraine-Russia situation, it's not new in the least. In fact, I've talked a lot about 1856. Everybody's talking about the U.S. Pluto return, which has nothing to do with this year, by the way. The U.S. wasn't formed in 1776. I talked about that in my Pluto return seminar as well. The revolution started, but it didn't form a country, okay? We weren't a country until the Treaty of Paris in 1783. And we didn't really become a full-fledged country until 1785 with our Constitution. I'm a political analyst. Before I was an astrologer, I was a political analyst. So these things are important to keep in mind. But in 1856, the last time Jupiter and Neptune met up in Pisces, it was the end of the Crimean War. And that was before the Soviet Union existed. These are old issues, and it has to do with resources, it has to do with land mass, it has to do with access to waterways, and that has to do with commerce and all kinds of things. So we will be seeing a lot of negotiations. There's a lot of tough talk. There's a lot of willy rattling. If you use British vernacular, you know what I was talking about. They're flagellating the Richards out there, but I can't say things that'll get me like in trouble here. But right, there we go. My Venus in Gemini has fun making up the things we can say as euphemisms. Yeah, there's a lot of woo and I would like to point again, while we're watching all these world so-called leaders going, you know, you looked at my nose wrong and they're gonna do this. I'm like, yeah, and so this all looks so immature. But, you know, don't worry about worst outcomes, okay? If it's not directly impacting you, put your attention on what's right in front of you. If you have family there, if this is a very personal issue, that's a very different story. Do your best to maintain the most positive outlook as you can, okay? Right? Exactly. They're breathing. Yeah. And it's the whole reason I went to work in the private sector instead of the government, when I realized people didn't want to learn how to communicate better. They wanted to continue this. I was like, so they're not really looking for pathways to peace. They're just having hormonal moments. And, you know, they talk about women, but really, yeah, let's fight over shit instead of making sure everybody has a slice. Okay. Real mature. You know, looks like toddlers if you ask me. So, but yeah, so do your best. And I talk about this a lot on my podcast. If you go to the link in my bio, you'll hear that. I'll try to get, I mean, it's not too late. I got to go write the horoscopes. I know I didn't get them up today, but Monday's my day off. And I've been trying really, really hard to really make it a day off. Where I leave my house and I go do something besides sit here and be on my computers. It makes it better for the rest of the week for you guys when I do that, because otherwise I get really drained. And I got my nails done. I waited until Mercury was out of shadow because, yeah, everybody talks about the Mercury retrograde hair thing, which isn't a thing. But hands can be a thing, and Mercury is currently transiting my third house, so I was waiting until it was out of shadow. And didn't they turn out cute? The only little thing, they didn't have gel, so oh no, I'll have to go back in like a week to do new polish. That's horrible. It's awful. I might do cat's eye. I don't know. I like cat's eye. We'll see where I feel next week. So yeah. Right? Super cute. They do such a nice job, and they're so close to my house. I love it. Right? I know. Having to go in and get new colors. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I love gel, but I don't care. I mean, that's why I told the guy, was like, he was like, he'd kind of run out of it because it is such a cute color. And I was like, just do regular. It's fine. I'm like, I'm doing a pedicure. I wax the eyebrows. Notice I don't have caterpillars anymore. Yeah, blame my Norwegian ancestry for the hair. Yeah, so the eyebrows are all fixed. So now we can actually see my eyeshadow instead of looking like a Muppet. Yeah. Preparing for tomorrow when the moon crosses my ascendant. So I can look, you know, pretty. Like, ooh. I'll make some good videos tomorrow. Maybe I'll put a bunch in the can. I'll do a bunch of drafts. Well, I still look good. It'd been a while. Like, it's really bad when the gal who's doing the, it happens like anytime I wait too long to do my eyebrows, it'll be like, you have a lot of hair. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't do it myself. I'm blind in one eye. You don't want me plucking my eyebrows. It never goes well when you're blind in one eye, you do not have depth perception, and I can't see the other side of my face. I'm like, ugh. And then I grab like half of it, and then there's a chunk out, and we don't want to go there. We just pay for it to be done, okay? But they're like, oh, that's a lot. Like, thanks. Like, I didn't know I have a lot of eyebrow. But yeah. Right? So yeah. So just a reminder to all my patrons on the live. Oh, you're home now? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Pluto Dust. Thank you for letting me know. I was thinking good thoughts for you. Thanks for letting us know. You have lazy eye? Yeah, I have lazy eye in this eye too, but it doesn't cross as much anymore now that I'm blind all the way in it, which is really weird. You know, I mean, I've lost a lot of the muscles because it doesn't work. So that's why this eye will droop a little bit. But yeah. So, yeah. But Sunday is Coffee with Lori. Remember, last Sunday of the month is Coffee with Lori. So that's super exciting. I love that. I love talking with all of the patrons, whether you're $3 level or you're $55 level. Coffee with Lori is part of your patron membership. But yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad you told us, you know, because that's kind of freaky and scary. That's not fun to have to walk home. You know, it's bad enough walking home in the dark anyway, you know. So different ways to set intentions. A good beginning way is just, you know, I would set intentions on how you want to feel. So like, you just write an I feel statement. I feel at ease. You know, I'm learning to feel at ease. When I feel at ease, this is what it's like, and describe that feeling in the body. Those types of things. And then you can set intentions on other things, but you really want to get your insides sorted out first before you try to make outside stuff happen. So, yeah. Well, no matter what kind of sets it up, but you could say, I know that everything's always working out for me. Today is a good day, you know, and just leave it at that. Today's a good day. And you can just say that throughout the day, you know. One of the things I started doing in, what was it? I think it was early 2019. I had weird stuff happen because the energy was shifting. I had a big transit that was ending, and the energy was shifting, but there was also weirdness that came up with it. So what would look like a big problem, like I had rats eat through my car. Like literally through the floorboards. Like, it was just, I guess it happens in the hills all the time in this area that I was living in, La Habra Heights. It's a nice area. But like every garage was like, oh yeah, it happens. I'm like, are you kidding me? I lived in a forest for 16 years in Northwest Washington and had no rodents ever chew through the undercarriage of my car and eat my seats. Okay, it was weird. And it happened not once, but 3 times. 3 times. The first time, it was just the engine carriage. But it got progressively more severe. It was crazy. Okay. And the first time, I was just like, this is really weird. Why is this happening? And I got it fixed, and I drove back to Arizona where I was living. And then I came back to La Habra to visit my people, and it happened again. And this time I'm like, but this time was more severe. This was the first time they got into my car. And I was like, and people are like, did you leave your windows down? I'm like, no, they got in and it was creepy. And I called my insurance, and I was like, the way I did it, because I was really nervous to call my insurance, because I'd never made a claim before. I'd never had a reason to make a claim before. And it's really nice to get to 50 years old without ever having needed a claim, right? I'd never had a problem, never had an accident, never had a problem, never had to use my insurance. And I'm like, this is going to be more than $500, so I better call the insurance. It was way more than $500. And I just reminded myself that I had really good insurance. You know, that was one of the things I did for myself. Of all the bills I had, I made sure I had the best insurance I could get, because I was a single lady on my own. So after my divorce, I was like, I'm going to get the best damn insurance I can get. I'm going to take care of me. And my insurance was amazing. They walked me through all the processes. They took me through they took really good care of me. The assessor came out, took a look at my car, and went, holy shit. And that got taken care of. And it happened another time. But, the second time, the garage it went to be, looked at, that's right. The assessor didn't come to me that time. That's how I learned you get the assessor to come to you. Okay, you don't let the assessor look at it without you there, ever. I learned that. And that was important. You're either learning or growing, right? And I'd never done these things. And so as it was happening, I was laughing about it because it was so crazy and so weird. And I'd be like, I wonder what this is doing for me or how this is working out for me. Well, the third time it happened, when I had the assessor come out to me, I got a full replacement for my car, because the third time it was just massive damage. It was just, I just walked out to my car, I saw it, and I went, I don't even know how to explain this, and I sat on the steps and I just kind of laughed, and I called the insurance. I'm like, I'll send you pictures. I got a new car. Okay. So that was really cool. That car was not new. It wasn't a beater or anything, but it was a car I had driven a lot. I had put over 150,000 miles on it, doing really cool road trips. But I got a new used car. And then I had a problem with that one last year. Did not have a garage. That was part of the problem. There was no garage. So no, there was no garage to keep my car in. That's part of the problem. That's why I moved to where I live now. That's why having a garage was very, very important to me. So last year, I had another issue with the car. Can you tell Pluto moved to my third house? And I had to call my insurance. Had to deal with it. It was another very, very strange situation. Different one this time. Also probably somewhat caused by rodents. Not sure. There was a lot of weird shit. No, it was not a Nissan. It was actually a Yaris, and I loved my Yaris. And then the new car that I got from that was a Prius, and it was okay. It was a Prius C. It was all right. They don't have much torque. They don't accelerate very much, and I like acceleration. But I'm not a speed demon, but I like to go, go, go. Like at traffic lights and stuff. I don't like to sit there forever. I'm like, come on, let's move it. I like to move it. But anyway, so this was a weird situation, and my insurance took care of it, and I had to buy another car. This time I decided, because I had improved my credit, I had done a ton of things, because remember, I restarted my life at 46. Okay, I left a long-term marriage, I changed everything, kind of had to start from the ground up. I purposely did that to be ready for 2020. I took out everything that did not serve me. I worked with Pluto instead of fighting Pluto. I let stuff go away, and I rebuilt. And now I have a lovely car that I totally adore. I moved into a place that has a garage. That whole experience all led to one and another. While I built up, I learned, I grew, and the whole time I was like, I wonder how this is working out for me. I didn't expect it to go wrong. Everybody's like, oh no, that's horrible. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's working out for me. And I managed, again, do I have a garage? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And my new car is fine. And even when my really weird mirror thingy happened. I found a solution for 20 bucks. Why? Because I'm not sitting in the oh no and the resistance of it. I'm asking, how is this working for me? How is this turning out in my favor? How is the solution coming? My friend today, when we were out, they were like, okay, on to the next problem. I said, what about the next solution? Why are you only thinking about problems, buddy? Think about the solutions. Huh? Right? How is this working out for me? What are the solutions that can come up? I wonder who's going to help me today. I wonder what neat people I'm going to meet. I have the same. I meet the most incredible people wherever I go. You know, some people are like, everybody's assholes. Guess who they meet? I'm like, I meet the most fascinating, cool people. And guess what? I meet the most fascinating, cool people. My clients are amazing. And people are like, I don't know how you work with people like that. I'm like, why? I meet the nicest people. I have the coolest clients. They are the most amazing people who do amazing things. I mean, all of them, whether it's a student or it's a CEO, whether it's a scientist or it's an artist or a musician. I've crazy cool clients. You know, I can't complain. I get to meet the neatest people. And that's part of the attitude. I'm not expecting stuff to suck. I used to have a shitty attitude, and my life reflected that. Those small tweaks. And yeah, people can call you a Pollyanna. Whatever. You know, that you got to be grounded in reality. Not this year. In 2021, you got to believe and think a little magically, because reality is shifting really hard and really fast, and we're going to see a lot of sucky things happen. And if that's where your focus is on, you're not going to have a very good time. But we have Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces right now, and they're conjuncting on April 12th in a very magical moment. It's time to get the imagination going. It's time to look at things and have belief. And if all you believe in yourself, if that's it, then great. But you want to believe in the flying spaghetti monster, I don't care. Believe in something, because it's going to be amazing if you do. Right? Magic. Just like the meme. Magic. Magic. It goes a long way. Why is having the negative attitude and the world sucks and people are shitty, why is that realistic thinking? When all it is toxic and negative. I'm not talking about fake positivity. That's different. That's like, you know, you have a 100-pound weight sitting on your big toe and you're like, everything's okay. No, that's not it either. But if I had a 100-pound weight on my toe, I'd be like, I wonder who's going to help me move that off my toe. That's a positive attitude, accepting there is something on your toe. Okay. Toxic positivity is like, there is nothing there. Well, the 100-pound weight breaks your toe. That's not healthy. But neither is, oh my God, I have a weight on my toe. I'm going to lose my toe. There's a weight on my toe. That doesn't fix it either. Neither one of those extremes is a good thing. But going, hey, I wonder what solutions. Einstein said your imagination is your greatest tool. We're in Pisces season. Einstein was a Pisces. Einstein's chart was so cool. Was he a horn dog and had some problems with some ethics? Yeah, because he was human. You know? Yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome. I am a pragmatist. It isn't practicality disguised as positivity. It's positive pragmatism. Oh, mods, write that down in our notes section in Discord. But yeah, positive pragmatism. It's a good thing. Right? You've met so many amazing people because of it, and I know something big is going to happen for you because of it. I love that, Shelby by the shore. I love it. You know, it's really easy to go down the other path. I've been there. And some days I still have stinking thinking. Some days I still sit there and go like, who cares about what I do? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. you know, you know. But at the same time, I also know that it doesn't do anybody any good. So yeah, pragmatism is it's like realism, except it's neither negative nor positive. It's just like, okay, this if you've got a broken pipe, you're like, what's the best way to fix it? You're not denying the pipe is broken, and you're not saying, oh no, the pipe is broken, what the hell do we do? You're just like, okay, the pipe is broken, how do we fix it? You're not denying the pipe is broken, and you're not saying, oh no, the pipe is broken, what the hell do we do? You're just like, okay, the pipe is broken, how do we fix it? It's recognizing what is and understanding there's a solution. I like solutions. You know, I think there's always a way. I think there's always a solution. When I was 15 years old, I was told by world-renowned therapists that I would always be broken. Okay? And even at 15, I kind of listened to them, I kind of didn't. Because I looked at them after they described all these horrible things that would happen to me in my future, which they couldn't possibly know. But they were like, statistically, you're going to end up blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going to fill in the blah, blahs, but none of it was good. And one of those is questionable, though, because I was like, how is that like the worst thing that could happen to me? But anyway, but I was like, but wait a minute. I'm really smart. I don't do any of those things right now. Why can't I fix, you know, I've been through a lot, but why can't I have a happy life? I should be able to have a happy life. And the response from one of them was, you need to be realistic. Well, in their idea of being realistic and always being broken, it meant I wasn't going to live past 30. When I was 38 years old and the mother of a 15-year-old, I called them. Oh, they'd been on Oprah. They were very famous. This was 1985. I called them, and I was, again, a mother of a 15-year-old, and I said, you know, I wonder if you remember me. And one of them took the call. And I technically, they were actually treating the person who hurt me. And I would go, they kept trying to get me to talk. One of the reasons they were cruel is they were trying to get me to talk, and I didn't trust them because of stuff like that, oddly enough. And I wouldn't give them all the information they wanted. And I was just like, you know everything you need to know. You don't need extra from me. Thanks. I don't trust you, and you keep saying really shitty things to me, and I don't like you. But I called them, and I said, how many of the people you talked to, how many of the young people you worked with made it? And how many didn't? How many chose to end their own existence? Why? Because of what you told them. I didn't. And I'm working on 0 clinical markers. I hadn't got to it yet. I got to it a little bit later. And I was like, I hope you have nightmares the rest of your life. Because they're like, your case gives me nightmares. I'm like, it should. It should. And your part in it should. And I hope you never have a good night's sleep again. Because I'm not the only person you hurt. And I said it just like that. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I said it just like that. And I said, I'm the mother of a 15-year-old, and what you did slowed my life down. And it was irresponsible. Now, a lot of things have come a long way. You know, neuroscience has changed. Therapies have changed. If you wonder why Gen Xers were opposed to therapies, it was stuff like that, you know. And it set stuff up. So, but even then, I questioned, and it was good I questioned them. Like I said, I still listened, so I struggled a little, you know, on the way. But at the same time, I always was like, yeah, but I'm not doing half of what you're talking about now. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I didn't even date. And actually, that was a problem for me as a teenager. I was like, hey, I just want to feel safe dating. How do I do that? I think they're cute. I'd like to date. Feel kind of shy. Can we work on that? They didn't seem to think that was as important as I did at 50. I'm like, I think it's kind of important that I not be shy with somebody I think is cute. How do we do that? You know? But nope. They wanted me to just be realistic and recognize the fact that my life was going to be shit. And I was like, But if all my life is going to suck, why would I care? I was like, I can't believe my life is always going to be bad. And so I had a little mantra. It's got to be better than this. It's got to be better than this. It's got to get better than this. It's got to be better than this. And over time, with a lot of work, it got better and it got better and it got better. It was crunchy. It was hard. It was really hard. There were times I wanted to give up. There were times that even my children weren't enough reason for me to want to stick around. And then I'd have a beautiful, divine intervention, because as the dark thoughts would come in, there would be something that happened and a reminder that they did need me. Lucky woman. And then I did get to 0 clinical markers, which is, perfect mental wellness. I got there. I managed to overcome the trauma-based disorders and have a good life. And I've had a good life for a decade where I don't have flashbacks, don't have nightmares, don't live in anxiety and depression anymore. I have actual good days, and some days are actually crunchy and bad, but they're not trauma-based. It's amazing. And I was told that was impossible when I was younger. So I think sometimes people want us to be realistic when they don't have all the facts, when they don't know everything. We don't have all the knowledge of science yet because we're still learning and growing. We're still learning about the brain. They've learned so much about the brain in the last 20 years that they didn't know when I was a teenager. And it amazes me. And what does that have to do with spirituality? Everything. Being a human being in a physical body with a physical brain is a spiritual experience. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be a human being. All the crunch, all the gritty. And did I believe that at certain times in my life? No. There were times I very much did not think it was beautiful. There were times I was like, this is for the birds. But looking back, even on the ugly parts, I can say, what a beautiful life. What an intense life. What a rich life. And not all of my friends made it. And they were beautiful too. And even their pain was beautiful at the end of the day. It all adds up to experience. And it doesn't feel like that at the time. So, yeah, love you guys. Yeah, and yet there's still more to learn. And isn't that exciting that there's always more to learn? That's why I love astrology. There's always something new to learn. There's always a new way to see things interpreted. There's always a new layer of consciousness to grasp and understand. We're never to the bottom of it. There's always more to learn. There's always more to experience. There's always new layers. And if you just stop limiting yourselves and understanding how very precious you are, how very valuable you are, how very powerful you are, and not powerful in dominance and control, but real power. You had a 1 in 400 trillion shot of being here. Look up that online. The breakdown of that is insanely cool. You had a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being human. How is that not special? How are you not special? How is that not divine? How is that not precious? Of course you are. Of course you are. And you're so much more powerful than you know. So, did I ever get overwhelmed with all the learning behind astrology? I did 30 years ago when I was a new student, but I've been an astrologer for 30 years. So I teach. So no, I don't get overwhelmed with it anymore. No. But I did when I was a younger astrologer. In my 20s, I got overwhelmed with it. Astrology was one of the keys to my learning and growing and healing process. But yeah, no, I've been an astrologer. I've been a professional astrologer since 1998. Yep. Actually, I don't talk about personal placements in my live streams. So I do readings. If you go to the link in my bio, you can find those. And I also, like, patrons can come and ask those kinds of questions at Coffee with Lori. And it doesn't matter what level. You could be a $3 level, you could be $11 level, $55 level. It doesn't matter which level. And you still get Coffee with Lori. And it's actually going to be this Sunday. So it's the last Sunday of every month. So yeah. Oh, big hugs. You got to take astrology. Well, it can help uncover trauma, but you don't want to learn astrology that way. You actually want to slow it down and learn the basics. If you haven't seen my astro guide, or actually my astro guide to Chiron is very useful because I think people misinterpret Chiron badly. You don't want to use the Greek myth with it because Chiron wasn't discovered till 1977, and it's actually the light post on the healing path. So yeah, careful with that because we can trigger ourselves pretty bad when we're learning, and I remember that part of the process as well. So it's an inordinately helpful modality, right? Yes, Chiron is the light post on the healing journey. It actually is the lens through which we view trauma, but it is not the trauma itself. There are other markers, and there's lots of different markers that indicate trauma, but Chiron is actually not that. So. Oh, nice. Chiron conjunct your North Node. That's very awesome. That's a beautiful healing. Oh, class tomorrow. Exactly. No, it's not the trauma. No, it's not. It's the lens through which we view trauma. Yeah, if you go to the link in my bio, you'll see the Astro Guide, Volume 1, Issue 3. It's the Guide to Chiron. Yep. And I explain why it's been misinterpreted and how to interpret it. There's a lot of misinformation out there. It was only discovered in 1977, and a lot of people talk about it in bullshit ways. But I think you'll find it very liberating. And then I break it down by house and sign of kind of what it means to have it in a sign and a house, and how you can heal using it. So yeah, I think there's far too much emphasis on trauma and not enough on the healing. It's one thing, we do need to understand it. We don't want to deny our trauma. We don't want to try to hide it or not talk about it. That's not what I'm saying at all. We want to acknowledge it, but that's really where we want to go with it. I see you, and now I heal. I could have had 20 years of wellness instead of 10. Because once I figured out it was on the acknowledgement and then deciding which way I wanted to go, that I had like Dorothy, I had the power all the time. Yep. So, yeah. Yeah. It might. It depends on your chart. You know, if you're not wanting to sleep. But, oh, I got to check it. All right, it's almost 10. I got to go write horoscopes because I took the day off today because I take Mondays off and then I'll come on and live stream, but I didn't get the horoscopes out. So I'm going to do that. Maybe record a podcast. We'll see. I got to teach in the morning. So we'll see what happens podcast wise. And I know I heard the podcast volume wasn't high enough for a lot of people. So I'll make sure I amplify it this time before I produce the MP3. So it played okay for me on my devices, but I also have exceptionally sensitive hearing. So that could be it too. You know, when you have shitty eyeballs, you tend to have good hearing. So I'll make sure I amplify that. And just so you know, I actually get transcripts for my podcast now. So I'm going to be making transcripts of all of them and then going through those and working on putting like some books together off of it, because man, after 55, 56 episodes, I got a lot of material. So, you know, we'll be able to sift and sort through that and make a compendium of things and maybe some of the predictions and put those together. And I think it would be kind of fun to have some books of predictions that and how they came across and how they happened, and kind of fun. Keep a record of it, right? Oh, it was okay on your speaker and low on headphones. Yeah, I'm just going to amplify it. That's all I had to do. I'm careful because the mic is so sensitive that the last time I used that mic, it was really loud regardless of and I had to bring it down. And so it's just playing the settings on the mic. That's all. It's a really good mic. It's a great podcasting mic. So, and my voice naturally projects. And so I sit way back from the mic. If I sit up to it, it's like, you should see the sound waves. It's just like, whoa. Yeah, so, but yeah. Alrighty, guys, take care.